Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to this session on CLAT 2027. So almost 10 months now left for the examination. February है, today is 6th of February और यहाँ से अगर आप देखोगे दिसंबर में एग्जाम होता है तो which means we are left with exactly 10 months for the CLAT 2027 examination, and not just CLAT 2027. In fact, AILT 2027, SLAT 2027, and even the first phase of Christ University examination will be held in the month of December. So this year we saw even Christ University now jumping, and they also conducted their first phase of the examination in the month of December. They have opened another phase which is going to be conducted in the first week of April, but gradually it seems now that the top law entrances are moving towards the month of December. Now, this does mean a lot because if all the exams are happening in December, then please understand the kind of pressure you will be into, because most of you will be in class 12th at that point of time, appearing for your exam, the first pre-board at least. So that's the time when you'll be taking these examinations as well. Before I go ahead and talk about how to proceed for the next 10 months, I'll talk section by section as well. What should be your plan? What should be your strategy? And this will be for students who have already started their preparation, or even those students who are now thinking to start their preparation. Just let me give you a quick update. Those who have followed the CLAT developments recently, again, this year, the third list has been stopped after the ruling by the Allahabad High Court, where a student contended that his objections were not considered. So there might be a change in the rank list for some of the students, but that does not affect the first allotment, second allotment, which has already been done for the students to the different national law universities. Okay. So इस development के बाद, ये जानने के बाद, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं and try to understand what's in store for you for the next 10 months. But before that, it is important to understand why CLAT matters. That is very, very important, and why this timeline matters. देखो, most of you are appearing or will be appearing for your class 11th examination from next week. Okay, you are already in class 11th. अभी 11th के एग्जाम या तो शुरू हो गए हैं या नेक्स्ट वीक से शुरू हो जाएंगे. ऑलमोस्ट इंडिया में सभी स्टेट्स में, सभी सिटीज में 11th के एग्जाम का टाइम चल रहा है. इनफैक्ट जो स्टूडेंट अभी 10th 12th में है, उनके बोर्ड एग्जाम शुरू होने वाले हैं नेक्स्ट टू नेक्स्ट वीक में. कई स्टेट्स में तो शुरू भी हो गए. सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, जो नेक्स्ट 10 मंथ्स हैं वो बहुत ही क्रूशियल है. दो रीजंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है यहां समझने के लिए. नंबर वन, कि आपके जो लॉ एंट्रेंसेस हैं, व्हाइल वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट क्लैट टुडे, बट इसके साथ साथ यू नो आईलेट, स्लैट सभी दिसंबर में ही स्केड्यूल्ड होंगे. दूसरा, in next 30 days you will be entering into class 12th, which is a very crucial phase in your life, not just academic life. Overall अगर हम बात करते हैं तो जो class 12th है, that's very, very important, and it comes with the weight of the board examination. So class 11th is all about school examination, but class 12th is board examination. So the pressure will be felt in the next 10, 12 months. You'll feel the pressure. You'll start feeling the pressure in next couple of months itself. But you should also remember the fact that you have to take along your law entrance preparation. You have to take along your CLAT preparation along with your class 12th curriculum, because CLAT serves your career plan. You are not writing CLAT just because you want to get into a law college, or you want to get into a national law university, or maybe those colleges or universities which are accepting the CLAT score for admission. देखो, ये एक जरिया है. The end goal is your career. You want to have a good career in the field of law. That's the bigger goal. But for that to happen, you understand the importance of the education, and probably that's the reason why you are here today, even for the session. So you understand that if I have to make a mark for myself, it is very important, and especially in current times, it is very important that I graduate from a top law school in the country. Okay, and which also means that we are talking about the National Law School Bangalore, we are talking about Nalsar Hyderabad, Kolkata NUJS, NLU Jodhpur, NLU Delhi for that matter, or Symbiosis Pune for that matter, which means the stakes are high. But it is all about smart preparation. Believe me, it is all about smart preparation, because most of the students who appear for these examinations, they are in class 12. There are people who retake the exam. There are people who take a drop who take the exam. Some because they could not get to the college of their choice. Some because they started very late and could not do well, and some because they want an upgrade of the college. Unfortunately, this year could not happen. They understand the reality. In the last 2 months, they have realized what went wrong for them. Now they'll be working harder for that, but the majority of you are the one who will be in class 12. So stress will be there. How you manage the stress, that's very, very important. And earlier students have done that. So it is just about managing the balance between the two, your class 12th as well as your CLAT preparation. That's very, very important. And for that matter, an early start becomes very, very important. देखो, जितना अर्ली स्टार्ट होगा ना, उतना प्रेशर कम होगा, वो बैलेंस करना आसान होगा. इफ यू आस्क मी सिंपली एज अ मेंटर, व्हाट वुड यू एडवाइस, कितने घंटे पढ़ना चाहिए अगर तुम अभी से शुरू करते हो? लेट मी बी वेरी क्लियर. अगर तुम अभी से शुरू करते हो तो इस बिल्कुल मैं बोलूंगा 2 से 3 घंटे डेली काफी होंगे. 2 घंटे भी अगर तरीके से लगाते हो, इफ यू डू इट वेल, इफ यू प्लान इट वेल, a 2 hour plan for a day is going to be good one, considering you'll be appearing for your exams and all this in the next 20-30 days. But then it can go up to 3 days, and you'll get those opportunities weekends when you are not going to school. There'll be occasions when you'll have holidays in school, like Holi next month. You celebrate. I'm not stopping you from celebration, but ये सब opportunities होते हैं, ये occasions होते हैं जो opportunity बन के आते हैं. You can increase the tempo. Let's say instead of 2 hours on that particular day, I do 4 hours, in fact. And then as we move closer to the examination, when the stakes are high, probably we'll maintain a balance tilted more towards the CLAT prep, because after CLAT I'll get another 2 months for my board examination. But that will be possible. ये तभी possible होगा when you टेक बोथ साइमल्टेनियसली. ये बैलेंस बना के शुरू से चलना होगा. इफ यू आस्क मी इन द मंथ ऑफ जून, आई स्ट्रेट अवे से, बॉस तुम्हें अब डेली 4 से 5 घंटे लगाने होंगे. द मोमेंट यू कम टू मी इन द मंथ ऑफ सितंबर, यू नो यू विल बी अपेयरिंग फॉर अ हाफ ईयरली एग्जामिनेशन, बट मैं बहुत क्लियरली बोलूंगा कि बॉस अब 10 घंटे लगाने होंगे. बट इफ यू स्टार्ट राइट नाउ एंड इफ यू हैव स्टार्टेड अर्ली, दैट्स गुड. यू अप्रिशिएट योरसेल्फ, यू पैट योर बैक. बट अगर तुम आज से भी शुरू करते हो, मैं बोलता हूं 2 से 3 घंटे एवरी डे, एंड दैट इज मैनेजेबल. मुझे तो लगता है सिंपली इफ यू गो ऑफ द सोशल मीडिया, यू कैन मैनेज एवरीथिंग. एंड स्पेशली दोज हु आर वेस्टिंग टाइम ऑन वेरियस टेलीग्राम ग्रुप्स फॉर सर्चिंग फॉर रिसोर्सेज, वो ही बंद कर दोगे तो तुम्हारा ऑलमोस्ट 2 घंटे निकल आएंगे. ओके, सो ये चैलेंज है. यू हैव अ डुअल चैलेंज एट हैंड. You'll be appearing for your class 12th begins in another 20-25 days. You'll have your board exam preparation going on. You'll have your CLAT prep going on. जैसे ही दिसंबर आएगा, सारे लॉ एंट्रेंसेस शुरू हो जाएंगे. जैसे ही फरवरी आएगा नेक्स्ट ईयर 2027, your class 12 board examinations will start. Unfortunate for those who could not qualify, then they'll have time in March to introspect and probably think about the non-NLU colleges like Maharashtra CET based colleges like GLC, non-NLU. If you talk about GLC हो गया, ILS पुणे हो गया, या फिर Christ University का second phase होगा, NLAT for NMIMS. But that's a long story. Why not first work towards this, and which is something which is very, very achievable. Remember, both requires different kind of preparation. There is no alignment between your class 12 syllabus and your CLAT or any other law entrance examination. So of course there has to be distinct approaches, but please understand that if you manage time well, it can be taken care of. बस टाइम मैनेज करना अच्छे से आना चाहिए. दोनों चीजें बहुत आराम से क्रैक कर सकते हो. And I have seen students doing that, coming out with flying colors in the CLAT examination and scoring 98-99% in their class 12. No, there's no concept called super intelligent. Please understand that. हम अपने फेलियर को छुपाने के लिए we start saying, okay, I was not so good in academics, so anyway I failed. Boss, please understand, if you have studied biology till class 10th, everyone has studied. All of us have got that 1250 grams of brain. How you utilize that, that's very, very important. Can you turn your raw diamond within the skull into a polished diamond? And that will only depend on your time management. That will only depend on your behavior. That's very, very important to understand. ठीक है, पहले एक एक करके देख लेते हैं, देन आई विल कम आउट कैसे वो 2 से 3 घंटे को प्लान कर सकते हो ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, और कहां कहां पे यू विल हैव गुड अपॉर्चुनिटीज टू इंक्रीज दैट टेम्पो. सो यू नो, CLAT हैज 5 sections. If you talk about AILT, technically AILT has four sections. Legal reasoning, by not a big chunk of it, but now it's part of the logical reasoning. On paper we see three sections, but technically it is four sections. SLAT has five sections. All of the examinations typically are centered around those five areas only, where they test your language skill. Which language? English language skill. Now the design of the paper could be different, but if you look at the three of the biggest entrances, you talk about CLAT, you talk about AILT, you talk about SLAT, all three of them have similar pattern, which is they test your comprehension ability. They test your ability to understand, analyze, and draw inferences from the passages which have been given to you right in front of you. So CLAT भी RC based है, ALT भी RC based है, SLAT भी RC based है, और जितने भी इनके अलावा एग्जाम्स है, whether you talk about Christ University entrance test, you talk about your NLAT, which is for the NMIMS University, you talk about Maharashtra CET, उसमें भी 20% तो आरसी होता है ना. They have at least 20% RC, one or two passages over there. So please understand, when it comes to these examination, English as a language, when it gets tested, it is more to do with the comprehension part of it, which means you have to work on your reading speed without compromising on the comprehension, which means understanding the information, analyzing the information in the same manner as the author wants you to, or somebody who has set the paper wants you to actually. Please understand that. Then contextual vocabulary becomes very, very important. You don't need to learn vocabulary in isolation. It is contextual vocabulary. It is there in the passage. But a good vocab definitely helps in comprehending the information as well. So vocabulary is something which we should be continuously working upon. So whenever you comes across something new, keep a track of it, maybe make a notebook or something. One of the best books you can follow, just doing 5 pages a day, I would recommend, is Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. I'm sure some of you have gone across it, some of you may have finished it, but अगर नहीं किया है, आज तक देखा नहीं है, तो कल सुबह मार्केट जाओ, वर्ड पावर मेड इजी उठा करके लाओ, तुम्हारी वोकैब पे बहुत अच्छा इम्पैक्ट आएगा. ठीक है. So the three focus area when it comes to the English language section includes your speed and comprehension, understanding the contextual vocabulary, and the third one is the inference based questions. You have to answer it accurately, which means we are talking about two critical skills. One is reading comprehension itself, the other one is reading skill, and this will take time. These two skills take time. It cannot happen overnight. It cannot happen in 24 hours. It cannot happen in a week or a month. It takes time. These skills take time to build upon properly. So starting early will definitely give you that competitive advantage. But how do you do it? कैसे करना है? First, you have to ensure that you are into daily reading habit. Boss, पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा, read करना पड़ेगा. You cannot improve your English and going to an institution which promises हिंदी से इंग्लिश बोलना सिखा देंगे, इंग्लिश में एक्सपर्ट बना देंगे, नेक्स्ट शशि थरूर तुम ही हो. That doesn't work. Till the time you read, till the time you speak yourself, that doesn't work out actually. So first habit which you have to work upon is reading on a daily basis. Don't pick up a novel today itself that I have to finish it. No, it has to be gradual. Please understand, it has to be gradual. Read newspaper, and I would say either go ahead with Hindu or the Indian Express, any of the one. You don't need to pick both. Just pick one of the newspaper. Make it a habit that you read. You spend 30-35 minutes every day reading that. Okay, so this also answers my first part, which is how do I spend those 2 hours? So 30-35 minutes will go on reading a newspaper, and very important to read the editorial. Please understand, editorial इनमें से जो भी न्यूज़पेपर पिकअप करते हो उसको एडिटोरियल को डेफिनेटली पढ़ना. एडिटोरियल गिव्स यू द कॉन्टेक्स्ट फॉर द जीके पैसेजेस एज वेल. सो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है. Yes, this strategy will work from a dropper as well. The only thing is whatever time frame I'm going to talk about, इनको मैं 2 घंटे बोल रहा हूं, तुम्हें 10 घंटे फॉलो करना होगा उस चीज को. So just multiply it by 5. अगर वो मैं बोल रहा हूं तो 1 घंटे न्यूज़पेपर अब पढ़ना शुरू करो, 1 से 1.5 घंटे तुम्हारे लिए तो ऐसे है. ठीक है. So build your comprehension on a daily basis. Editorial is the most important part. Daily, weekly आरसी प्रैक्टिस. डेली अगर एक आरसी भी प्रैक्टिस करते हो, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट नेक्स्ट 300 days बॉस. CLAT will happen in December. 10 months means 300 days. Even if you do just one passage in isolation of the practice which you might be doing in class, in isolation of the mock test, you will encounter 300 passages. You don't need anything beyond that. If you do it proper way, if you do it diligently, you work on your speed, you work on the difficulty levels, that works. 300 passages in isolation, यार मैं तो मॉक्स को कवर भी नहीं कर रहा हूं. I'm not even talking about the mock test at this point of time. That gives you 300 passages practice. And when you do these passages, when you read the newspaper, build on your vocabulary. Very, very important. And of course, I need to test myself how I'm doing, because apart from the number of questions which I have to attempt, I have to be also mindful of one fact, which is accuracy. Accuracy पे full control होना बहुत जरूरी है. I cannot go for low attempt, good accuracy. I have to maintain high attempt, high accuracy. Both are important, which means to build that, to go for that kind of speed, you have to test yourself on a regular basis. Test लेते रहो frequently. दो sectional test month में लो, judge करो what is your accuracy level and what is the attempt. Gradually make your plan. Logs बनाओ error का, उस पे work करो, work on your error logs. You will see the improvement happening in next 30 days itself. The only thing is sticking. देखो, plan, making a plan is the most easiest part. You might have already started doing this while you are listening to me, but sticking to that plan, that workable plan, is very, very important. So let's move on to the next section, the pain point. Believe me, this is the pain point in the paper, because this is one section which I always say, you can't live without it, you can't rely on it. पूरा स्टेक इसमें हाई है, बट सब कुछ इसके ऊपर नहीं दे सकते हैं, बट इसके बिना रह भी नहीं सकते हैं, बिकॉज इट कंटेन्स 28 क्वेश्चंस, ऑलमोस्ट 25% ऑफ द पेपर. तो स्टेक तो डेफिनेटली हाई है. क्लिक कर गया, इट वर्क्स वंडर फॉर मी, एंड विदाउट दिस आई कैन नॉट क्रैक द एग्जामिनेशन बॉस. 28 क्वेश्चंस हैं. सो व्हाट डज कम इन द पेपर? And you know, CLAT GK is very, very different. In the other papers where you have standalone question, maybe a couple you may not know, but here if you don't know about the event, you may even find difficult solving those 6 questions based on that passage. So I should read about important events. So what gets covered in the paper, please understand, current national international events, but the static GK is also covered on a मेजर बेसिस. स्टैटिक जीके के बहुत क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. there is a good proportion of the static GK question, in fact larger than current affairs many a times, but that static GK is linked to that important event. It is not in isolation, it has connect to that important event, which also means that when I'm preparing the CLAT GK in particular, I have to be very, very mindful of the fact that what makes an event. That is important. First, try to understand what makes an event. And if you go to the syllabus page of CLAT, it mentions something which is of historical as well as current importance. So let's talk about something like what constitutes an event. An event is something which does not happen once in a year or something once which has happened. There are chain or series of something which is happening over a period of time. There could be a connect earlier, there could be something which might be coming up later. Simple example, elections. Elections is a continuous process in our country, because in one year we are going ahead with the general elections for the Lok Sabha, but every year there are 2 to 3, 4, 5 state elections happening. Okay, so this year, for example, we'll have elections in Assam, we'll have elections in West Bengal, so that will be there. But even if the context in the paper would be about elections in West Bengal, we know that Mamata Banerjee went to the Supreme Court, first made a representation, came out and went to the Supreme Court against the Election Commission of India. Now, if I were the examiner of CLAT and looking at what they have done in the last 6 years, forget about everything else, forget about what Mamata Banerjee did. I'll simply go ahead and ask who was the first Election Commissioner of India. That's it. Because it is related to that event, because elections is related to the SIR exercise which is going on. It is all for the elections. So what you have to understand in simply speaking terms is, in GK now you are doing a research. You research around the event, and that makes it important to start right now. Now there are questions, but sir, what is the ideal time frame to cover GK? Should I cover 6 months before the examination? Should I cover 10 months before the examination? We don't know. Even the consortium on its page, when you go to the FAQs, clearly mentioned there is no defined timeline. And there have been years where they have gone to 14 months before the examination. In this pattern itself, 14 months before the examination. Mostly 6 months is considered safe. If you look at the, but there have been instances जब वो बहुत पीछे गए हैं. So you cannot take chances. You cannot stand to lose 6 or 7 questions out there because you thought why do that. Plus, more importantly, it is developing that habit and it will develop your stamina. वो important है ना. तो बॉस अर्ली स्टार्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. दैट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हाट यू शुड बी डूइंग. देखो इंग्लिश के लिए न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग कर रहे हो ना, वो जीके का पर्पस सॉल्व करेगा ना, करंट अफेयर्स का पर्पस सॉल्व करेगा ना. इट विल सर्व दैट पर्पस एज वेल. So your same resource is taking care of two sections at this point of time. And of course, you have to do revision because it's a lot of information. You cannot retain the information for 10 months. You have to do revision. And we all know science. We have all studied science at least till class 10th, whatever stream you may be in right now. The fact of the matter is you lose 82% if you don't revise within 24 hours. And it's a proven fact. You lose 82% if you don't revise within 24 hours. Now, this revision is wrongly interpreted. Most people understand revision as doing everything once again. No, you have to just highlight when you are reading, and next day you just look at those highlighted words. You will be simply able to make that connect. So 24 hours revision followed by a weekly revision followed by a monthly. You'll remember everything 12 months down the line as well. That's how you sharpen your brain. So isko kaise karenge? You'll use monthly compilations. Like you have weekly manthan for the LST students. You have Manthan 2.0, which is dedicated to CLAT. Then you can refer to some of the current affairs magazine, because newspaper to 30 दिन के बाद नहीं खोलेंगे ना. You are not going to open the newspaper. In GK, weekly revision is very, very important if you want to retain the information without creating too much pressure at the end moment. बॉस वीकली रिविजन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. डेली क्विजेस, वीकली क्विजेस करते रहो. स्टडी बडी ग्रुप बहुत अच्छा काम करता है. इफ यू आर फ्रॉम द सेम स्कूल, 4 of you, 5 if you are preparing for the examination, distribute tasks among themselves. Today you'll pick up 2 topics, I'll pick up 2 topics. If there are 5 important topics in the newspaper, let's read and let's share, let's test ourselves. Why not do that? Peer learning is always the best learning. Legal reasoning, the core of the CLAT, highly important section, again for one fact, which was 32 questions. 30 to 32 questions. So it's equally important like GK. You cannot ignore it. And I know you love this paper. Those who have already started, they're already loving the legal aptitude section because you already are behaving like a lawyer, which you don't need to, by the way, but then you are already doing that. But this is important section, either ways. ठीक है ना? वैसे भी important है. तो अच्छा लग रहा है, बहुत अच्छी बात है. What does this section actually test in CLAT? What exactly does it test? If you ask me, it does test only one thing: your ability to decide, decision making. That's the skill this section is testing. Simply decision making. Can you make decisions based on the information, the situation presented to you? This is about your natural ability to think like a lawyer. Remember, just think like a lawyer, don't behave like a lawyer, which means you don't need to know sections, articles, the constitution in detail. Please understand, you don't need to need the laws. You need to have basic understanding of it to approach. You know why? The good news. No, this is not good news. Because, sir, consortium on its website has stated no prior knowledge of law is required. Boss, please go ahead and read the next line. It helps. And those who have seen CLAT 2026 paper, 9 questions were legal GK, boss. Prior knowledge of law was required. Legal knowledge was required. 9 out of 30, that's almost 33%. 30% of your paper was prior legal knowledge. Sometimes students say, यार CL के mocks में legal knowledge क्यों test करते हैं? It comes every year. You need to just do a good analysis. Every year they test your legal knowledge. They have stated on the website not needed. You go and challenge them. That's the reason we keep legal knowledge every year. Then people go and shout, what was the need? CLAT तो नहीं पूछता है. पूछा ना, 9 क्वेश्चन पूछे इस बार. Please understand the fact. The second is, don't jump into passages while a question all directly. First, understand the principle and fact application. And this is where the previous year's paper up to 2019 really worked wonders. You know why? Please understand, you put yourself in the shoes of the person, in the mind of the person who sets that paper. What's the difference? What's the tactical difference between what was the legal knowledge section or the legal reasoning section till 2019 and what happens from 2020? If you were to ask me one difference, I would say earlier the principle was visible right in front of you, it was stated as principle. Now you have to, depending on the question which you are solving, you have to identify the principle yourself in the passage. It is there, it is there in the passage. You have to pick up the right statement, right line in the passage which works as the principle, which means you have to think like that person who is setting the paper. What will constitute a principle for him to this particular question? Which part of the passage can become the principle? That can only happen when you start thinking like that. And that is why solve some 30, 40 questions across the 4, 5 areas like law of torts, criminal law, constitution, contract, more importantly, and you'll suddenly start thinking like, okay, this is how the examiner works on the principle. I can now easily identify. Do not bring common sense, boss, the worst sense human beings have. हमारा जो कॉमन सेंस है ना, वो पेपर में मत लेकर के आना, वो हेल्प नहीं करता है. क्योंकि जो कॉमन सेंस होगा ना, तुम जबरदस्ती के लॉयर बन जाओगे वहां पे. यू विल सडनली स्टार्ट अप्लाइंग, ओके आई नो अबाउट आर्टिकल 21, आई नो अबाउट बीएनएस, दिस थिंग. नो, दैट इज नॉट, दैट मच ऑफ डेप्थ इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. Stick to what's given. So when you practice, stick to what given in the passage. सब कुछ वहीं पे है. You have to decide quickly. They are testing your decision making ability along with comprehension over there. So which means legal requires a regular practice. I know you are not listening to me for that matter, sir. Legal तो वैसे इंटरेस्टिंग है, हमें तो वही मजा आता है. Logical reasoning, the one of the two sections which students struggle about because they feel, I'm not able to do well in this particular section. Why? Because it's reasoning. First thing first, boss, reasoning. It is also about being regular. It cannot be mastered in a day or two. You have to open your minds. It is about, in a way, it is about creativity. You start thinking out of the box. ये regular thinking से reasoning नहीं होता है. And when it comes to CLAT like paper, or when it comes to this time, it was predominantly, in fact, almost it was analytical reasoning. But please understand, next year भी analytical होगा ये कोई गारंटी नहीं है. क्योंकि अगर सबने यही सोचा होता कि 2024 का जो 25 का पेपर था उसमें एक एनालिटिकल आया था, 3 क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग के पैसेजेस, तो इस बार भी वही होगा. उल्टा हो गया इस बार. नेक्स्ट ईयर बिलीव मी इट कुड बी 50-50, 2 एनालिटिकल रीजनिंग सेट, 2 पैसेजेस हो सकते हैं. You have to prepare for even such kind of scenarios, but first understand how the logical reasoning is designed for the CLAT paper. What are the skills they are testing for you? Critical thinking ability, that's how I would say. Analytical thinking ability. So तुम्हें assumptions जो हैं argument के अंदर वो पहचानना आना चाहिए. Whether how to strengthen the argument, you should understand how to draw inferences, valid inferences from the information which has been given to you. What are the logical flaws, the fallacies which are there? You have to develop the skills, and this can only happen when you practice every kind of question. So you have to study each of the question category: statement, argument, statement, conclusion. You start from there and then move on to the advanced stage where you are able to identify those flaws, you are able to identify those connects, which means the simple term, if you ask me 2 word for this particular section, I'll say this. What helps me the most? Can you give me a 2 word answer? I'll say regular practice, being in touch on a daily basis. So practice widely, pick up different sources out here in the sense. और sources का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप चले 10 जगह से ढूंढने लगे, Google, AI. बस whichever institution, forget about. If you're LST, let me tell you, आपकी class exercises हैं. Now we are adding home exercises this year. You have your sectional test, you have your topic test, you have your mocks. Most ignored tool is the mock. मॉक हम लास्ट मोमेंट के लिए बचा के रखेंगे, सॉल्व नहीं कर पाए तो कबाड़ी वाले को दे देंगे. इतने सारे मॉक्स तो मिल ही जाते हैं, वो कबाड़ी वाले से कुछ पैसे तो आ जाएंगे, अभी से क्यों नहीं लिख रहे हो? व्हाई नॉट राइट नाउ? बट कमिंग बैक, आई विल कम टू दैट. You have to practice from a diverse kind of passages and topics. Identify your mistakes, where your reasoning is going wrong, and then start building on that. Please understand, success in this particular section will come from understanding the type of question and how you approach those questions. You cannot just blindly do it. आपको pattern को समझना होगा. Why the answers are wrong, that is important. Like you find in your LST answer for the mocks, उसमें हमने ये भी explain किया ना कि बाकी के 3 आंसर क्यों गलत हैं. That's how you practice this. Okay, I don't know how many of you will be even willing to listen to this. लोग भागना शुरू हो जाएंगे. Oh boss, quantitative techniques, maths, I can't do maths. जबरदस्ती 10 तक तो हो गया, now I cannot do maths. And what are they doing? And let me ask you a question. You can use the comment box to answer. What is the answer to this particular question? What is 2 plus 2? Just quickly answer. Those who are live now, just quickly answer what is 2 plus 2. You can use the comment box. I'm waiting there. Have you seen the last 6 years paper which has been coming, the quantitative techniques section in the examination? Have you seen that? Nobody is answering. पता नहीं क्या होकर आएगा. So Pranav said 4. Mahi says 4. All of you are saying 4. Then why you are fearing this section? You are good at it already. तुम अच्छे हो यार. अगर 2 plus 2 4 जानते हो तो तुम क्लैट का मैथ्स जानते हो. लॉ एंट्रेंसेस के जो मैथ्स पूछे जाते हैं वो जानते हो. You know about it. Then why this fear? It's all about basic arithmetic. And believe me, if you ask me, what is quantitative techniques? Boss, it's a fancy name they have given. I'll say it's reading comprehension. At the end of the day, you have a caselet there. You have information given. You have to identify the pattern in that information. Now, so in fact, the quantitative techniques of CLAT is nothing more than a reading comprehension. It's all there. You have to do some basic calculation. The moment you understand what is multiplication, the moment you understand how to divide things, the moment you understand how to add and subtract, that's your job done. परसेंटेज निकाल सकते हो, रेशियोज निकाल सकते हो, एवरेजेस निकाल सकते हो, नहीं निकाल सकते हो कोई बात नहीं. 10th तक तो मजबूरी में मैथ्स पढ़ा है ना. ऑल ऑफ अस हैव स्टडीड मैथ्स 10th. मजबूरी में ही पढ़ा है, बट पढ़ा है. दैट्स हेल्पफुल. And you have to do some 7-8 topics of arithmetic. That's it. 7 से 8 टॉपिक यार. अगर तुम हफ्ते में एक टॉपिक करते हो, 2 हफ्ते में एक टॉपिक करते हो, अभी तो हम वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 10 months, 40 weeks. 40 weeks, 5-5 हफ्ते में एक टॉपिक करो ना, तब भी हो जाएगा. Can you give 30 minutes every day? Forget about 30 minutes. Give 30 minutes on alternate days. मंडे को 30 मिनट, फिर वेडनेसडे को 30 मिनट, फिर फ्राइडे को 30 मिनट. दैट्स इनफ. एक टॉपिक पे स्टिक करते हैं. जितना जबरदस्त तरीके से फॉर्मूले को समझते हैं, उसके एप्लीकेशन को समझते हैं. नेक्स्ट वीक आई विल डू 10 क्वेश्चंस on 3 days. 10 Monday, 10 Wednesday, 10 Friday. Believe me, third week you'll be more confident than somebody who might be already good in maths. And that is how you approach quantitative techniques. That's it. कॉन्सेप्ट्स को मास्टर करना है ना. थोड़ा सा लास्ट मोमेंट पे छोड़ोगे तभी प्रॉब्लम आता है. फॉर्मूला समझ लो कैसे करते हैं. हर बार थोड़े 2-4 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लो. ज्यादा टारगेट सेट नहीं करना. बिलीव मी, द कॉन्फिडेंस विल कम. बट प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, दिस सेक्शन इज योर मेक और ब्रेक सेक्शन. मेक और ब्रेक सेक्शन है बॉस. जहां सभी अच्छा कर रहे हैं ना, देयर हैज टू बी वन सेक्शन व्हिच डिसाइड्स. And this is what happened this year. This is what happened last year. The top scorers, they are getting into NLUs because they did well here. No, they did well here. IELTS का कट ऑफ कितना है जनरल कैटेगरी? 133 out of 150. वहां मैथ्स नहीं आता है. तो इसका मतलब जिस जो लोग प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, दे आर गुड एट जीके, दे आर गुड एट लीगल, दे आर गुड एट लॉजिकल, दे आर गुड एट आरसी. वही लोग लिख रहे हैं वहां पे भी. क्लैट का कट ऑफ 106 107 जा रहा है ना. 106 107 लाने के लिए बिना मैथ्स के कैसे होगा? बिकॉज 108 में 106 का स्कोर तो नहीं आ सकता है. 103 का स्कोर तो नहीं आ सकता है. There is something called accuracy. You cannot have 100% for all questions. So somewhere this is please needs to be understood. This is a make or break section. You cannot ignore it. बस करना है तो करना है. So what should be my next 10 months plan? Let's divide into phases now. February, March, April foundation करते हैं. भले ही अभी तक जितनी तैयारी की है, even if I have started earlier, let me build on that concept. Make it foolproof. Make it foolproof. If I'm starting today, next 3 months I'm only going to work on my concepts. That's it. मैं अपने foundation को ठीक करूंगा, मैं अपने knowledge को ठीक करूंगा. That's what I'm going to work upon. Months 4 to 6 is about mastering every section. And then we start integrating, build upon our strategy. Abhi to we can experiment. But then once after 6 months have lapsed, next ke jo 4 months hain, that is all about developing that strategy, which works for me. And strategy cannot be common to two students or everybody. First of all, please understand there is no one strategy which you can go. There has to be some tweak which you'll be doing in the actual scenarios, but you'll work on something as simple as which section to approach first, which means which area is my strength. I'll do that first because I'll score better over there. So that's how you divide. There is a hidden gem in next 10 months. Your summer vacation. You are not going to school. That's about saving 7 to 8 hours a day. You are not getting tired because you are not cycling to school. You are not traveling to school. Whatever mode we travel, we do get tired, isn't it? Metro में जा रहे हैं तो टायर थक जाते हैं, कार से जा रहे हैं तो थक जाते हैं, स्कूल बस में थक जाते हैं, पैदल जाएंगे तो वैसे ही थक जाएंगे. But these 30 days you'll get, whichever part of the country you are, you'll get 30 days. Maybe it's April, like in West Maharashtra, maybe in May in some part of the country, in northern side, because of the heat factor, June. But 30 days to 12th में भी मिलता है boss. And just spend out of those 8 hours being saved by virtue of not going to the school, you devote that time to your CLAT prep. That easily translates, even if you keep 6 days now, 6 hours, it easily translates to 180 hours, boss, which means we are looking at anywhere about giving ourselves an advantage of more than 200 hours of preparation. But it will fall apart if you don't understand. Planning is the easiest part. You'll have to follow that plan. पेपर पे प्लान तो बहुत लोग बनाते हैं ना. In a class you have 30 kids in a section, each of them studying commerce, each of them have business studies or let's say economics as a subject, but one student goes to score 100, the other scores 99, the third one 98, and there are some group of friends who are scoring 40, 45. The teacher was same, the resource was same, the paper was same. Why different students are scoring different? Because it's how you approached. The one who's scoring 100, 98, 99 probably may not be even going to tuitions. But the 45 one wala is going to tuitions every day. It is not about my strengths. It is all about how I work towards it. The one who are scoring 90 and above, believe me, they might not be telling you, but when they come back home after the school, they know that I have to study today, I have to revise today. They have a plan in place. They also enjoy their life. They are on social media. They go to MacD. They go to Starbucks. But first, studies. Rest for them, the others are important. They look for the schedule to be announced by the teacher, and then they start making notes in the back of their notebooks. 10 days left for the examination, 10 chapters, one day every day, I'll cover, done. And suddenly, a day before the examination, you're calling your friend, can you cover those 2 chapters? I can ask questions from you. It's all about your intent. It's all about how you approach it. It's a make or break opportunity of 30 days. कर लोगे अच्छा काम करेगा, नहीं करोगे come back to me, I'll say अब 12 घंटे पढ़ो. That's how it is. And you can work wonders to your class 12th preparation as well. बस 4 घंटे स्कूल, 6 घंटे क्लैट, 10 घंटे तो पढ़ सकते हैं, 6 घंटे सो जाना. You'll have to maintain that balance if you are if you are like अंदर से आ रहा है ना, can we ask sir which is more important? Both are important. There is nothing, not one of it which is important, but you can plan it out. Abhi, it's a balance. Starting October and November, those 2 months, it has to be clat, clat, clat. The day clat is over, IELT is over, it has to be board, board, board. That's how you can approach. बट अभी वो बैलेंस मेंटेन करना होगा. सो फिक्स अ रूटीन 2 to 3 hours. समबडी आस्क मी कैन यू डिवाइड दिस 2 hours, कैसे करेंगे इस 2 घंटे को? अभी बताता हूं कैसे करेंगे 2 घंटे को. देखो, अगर हैबिट ऑलरेडी बिल्डअप है तो 30 will go into the newspaper reading. But because GK component is involved, I'll say your 1 hour is about GK. 1 hour you can pick one of the other section. मंडे को आरसी कर रहे हैं, ट्यूसडे को लॉजिकल रीजनिंग कर रहे हैं, वेडनेसडे को लीगल रीजनिंग कर रहे हैं, थर्सडे को इट्स अ स्टैटिक जीके इंक्लूडेड जीके रिवीजन, फ्राइडे को फिर से इंग्लिश पे आ गए. इस तरीके से यू कैन डिवाइड योर टाइम. देयर इज नो सिलेबस ना, इट्स ऑल अबाउट ट्रेंड, इट्स ऑल अबाउट पैटर्न व्हिच इज आस्क्ड इन दिस पेपर्स. कोई सिलेबस थोड़ी नहीं है. आरसी का क्या सिलेबस है? तुम्हें पता है कि सिर्फ साइंस पैसेजेस आएंगे? दे विल आस्क ओनली फिलॉसफी. देयर इज नो सिलेबस ना. क्लैट टेक्निकली हैज नो सिलेबस. None of the law entrances have. So it's all about identifying what kind of questions come and keep on practicing about that. That's about it. Simply. इसके अलावा कोई कुछ भी दिमाग नहीं लगाना, बस इतना करो. But avoid burnout. The moment you'll have this plan in place, no, you'll never have that burnout. It only happens when you don't follow a plan. And even in this 2 hours, it need not be in a stretch. You can divide into 30 into 4. You can make it 45 into 3 kind of. 40 minutes, 5 minutes break, 40 minutes, maybe 5 minutes break, 40 minutes. That's how you should do it. The Pomodoro technique. I'm sure you are familiar with that. That is what works for you. But more importantly, it is about the consistency, boss. Consistent hoge, tabhi game jeetoge. Usain Bolt ran every day, practiced every day for 4 years for that one championship. Virat Kohli works hard every day for that World Cup. For him, everything else is practice. But even if there is no match happening, he will still hit the gym every day for 4 hours, 5 hours. He'll still go to the nets because he has a goal in mind. So it's about consistency, boss. That is very, very important. That is very, very important. And you need to understand the importance of mock test. And mock test, if you have not already started taking mock test, you are already losing the game. What happens if you score 0 today in your first mock? What will happen? Your goal is to get into NLS, or your goal is to make your parents happy. They'll be happy when you go to the NLS. They'll not be happy if you score 120 out of 120 in mocks. There are people who try to do that. क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? What will happen if you score 120 in mocks and in the actual paper you're scoring 60? You're not even getting a Sonipat. What's the use of it? You'll score 0. Assume in the first mock today you score 0. But you go analyze, you learn where things are going wrong, set a target. Next time, I'm not going to repeat this particular mistake. You'll see next time you score 5. Next time you score 10. Next time you score 15. Then there'll be a phase where you might get stuck around 80s, 90s. Then that will need a different strategy for which I'll come back after 2-3 months. But that start has to happen now. So syllabus finish karte hain. Which syllabus? Which RC passages you will know that come in the paper? Let me finish that syllabus. Which GK event will be covered in the paper? Let me know right today. You can cover and complete your syllabus. Which legal passage they are going to put in the paper? Do you know that, or you can predict that? Believe me, GK is still predictable. You cannot predict the other sections. तो जिसका आप कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते तो प्रैक्टिस करो. Write mock. A 2-hour mock needs 3 hours of analysis. Every time you write a mock, have a notebook. Abhi niklo market mein jao after dinner, buy a small notebook for yourself, tag it error log. Every time you find an error, you log that and see what went wrong. There are three things you should definitely analyze when you are analyzing a mock. Number one, the number of questions you attempted, you got correct. The number of questions you attempted, you got incorrect. And the third one is the number of questions you could not attempt. Now let's go one by one. Number of questions I attempted, I got correct. Those correct were because my fundamentals are in place or because I made some guesses which worked. Out of, let's say, 50 correct, 20 were guesses. You cannot do guesswork in the exam, boss. Don't forget the negative marking. So, which means your funda is still not good. Go ahead, work on that. You have not taken enough topic tests, section test, or mocks till now. Next is you attempted, you got it wrong. There could be reasons. Number one, your conceptual clarity is not there, but still you went ahead. Oh, I'm a hero. I will take risk. Let me take that. Or the second one could be you spent unnecessary extra time on attempting every question in the last moment. You are in so much of hurry that you mark the answer, you got it incorrect. Will happen. And the third one is the ones which you could not attempt. And many a times, it is not about not knowing the answer. It is about I could not even reach to that question. I could not even read that question because I wasted a lot of time on other questions. If a question which is supposed to be done in 30 minutes, if a question which is supposed to be done in 1 minute, 30 seconds, 1 minute, if you are spending 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, boss, mark my words, 99% of the time you'll get your answer wrong. The more the time taken for a particular question, the higher the chances of getting it wrong. Try it. And this is data I'm talking about. Some students are unable to write the offline mock because we are not also present in some of the cities. They take online mocks, and online we can capture even where you clicked and what second you clicked. And one thing which we have found, the more extra time you have taken to solve the question than required, you end up with the wrong answer. So, kai bar, it is not about the concept, it is about reaching to that question because I was wasting time somewhere else. Let me go back, read the passage once again. Boss, एक बार में समझ में नहीं आया ना, तो तीसरी बार में नहीं आएगा. दूसरी बार में आने के लिए बाद में आना. अटक गए हो तो बाद में आना. You pick up the low hanging fruits first. पेड़ पे चढ़ते हो आम तोड़ने के लिए तो पहले नीचे तोड़ते हो, ऊपर नहीं जाते हो, टॉप पे नहीं जाते हो. So, detailed analysis after every mock matters. Mistakes to avoid. अगर अब तक नहीं समझ में आया कि why you should start right now, you should ask me कब. मैं बोलता कल तक नहीं शुरू किया तो ऑलरेडी आज शुरू कर रहे हो तो लेट हो ऑलरेडी. कीपिंग जीके फॉर द लास्ट, सब कुछ लास्ट में कवर कर देंगे. नो, सारा कहानी बहुत सिंपल है. स्टार्ट नाउ, बी कंसिस्टेंट, कम बैक लेटर, ask me more number of hours. I'll tell you don't sleep. Even if you faint, don't sleep. क्योंकि अगर क्रैक करना है तो सोना बंद करना पड़ेगा फिर लास्ट में आओगे तो. So just maintain that balance. So finally what I'll say is it's high time you start. If you have just thought about it, it's high time you increase your tempo. If you're already preparing, don't ignore your mocks. Be consistent. That's very, very important. At the same time, be confident about yourself. You cannot win the battle by losing hope. Trust your diamond inside your skull. Make it work for you, but be confident and take care of your physical aspects. You cannot be mentally strong if you're not physically strong. Physically strong does not mean I have a gym wala body. You have to be active. Keep yourself physically fit. That's important. Physical fitness hoga to mental fitness hoga. You'll never see that fatigue happening. So your journey to NLS, NLU Delhi starts now. It's up to you how you make this 10 months count. That's very, very important. So that brings me end of this session today. Okay, should one literally write the questions? Why do you want to write the question? You know you have the sources with you. सब कुछ तुम्हारे पास ही रहेगा ना. मैं छीन वापस थोड़ी ना लूंगा किसी से. कोई भी छीन नहीं लेगा ना. तो you just mention mock number so and so, sectional test number so and so. That's it. सिंपली वो काम करना है. और वो एरर क्या था वो काम करना है. यू कैन ऑलवेज गो बैक टू द क्वेश्चन. एरर आइडेंटिफिकेशन इज नॉट द गोल इज आइडेंटिफाई द एरर and ensure I do not commit it next time. I do not repeat the mistake next time. That's important. Sleeping, can you give the 2 hour breakdown? सो रहे थे क्या? 30 to 35 minutes of newspaper reading. And if you are a starter now, it will go up to 1 hour. Believe me, if you do it in depth, considering your GK. And 1 hour, one area a day. एक दिन RC पकड़ा, एक दिन logical पकड़ा, एक दिन legal पकड़ा. Monday RC, Tuesday logical, Wednesday legal, Thursday starting GK, Friday a good revision into 1 hour for of course all this. Keep it as simple as that. Don't make your lives complicated, boss. This is where the problems start. Keep your plan simple, keep your life simple, follow your plan. That's the most important. And be follow means follow every day. No, 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 no. आज तो cousin के birthday में जाना है. Boss, go celebrate. But instead of being there for 5 hours, come back in 2 hours. Come back in 2 hours. वरना कल NLS नहीं जाओगे, the same cousin will bitch after you. You're behind. Don't let that happen. Okay? So that brings an end to today's session. I hope the point has been driven. You know what to do. Just have confidence in yourself and keep the hard work going on. Okay? Thank you so much. Good night. Arya. Okay. Thank you for the compliment. And I believe in you. I hope you will work wonders. Just make a plan and follow that.